Steve Kay, Vice Mayor, and I'm here today with Kremena Todorovna and Kurt Gody, both faculty members at Transylvania University. And we're here to talk about a new project that they have that involves the community called Unlearning Fear and Hate. I'm going to start by first welcome. Thank you for taking the time to be with me today.
Thank you.
And if you would, just talk a little bit, each of you, about kind of how you began working together at Transy and what the general thrust of your work has been. So.
Well, we started working together at Transy because both of us felt the need to take our students outside of the classroom. I had been teaching classes in American literature that asked students to read narratives written from the American social margins, and I realized that we were sitting in class reading all these books that dealt with the lives of African Americans, Latinos, women, immigrants, and other people of color. And meanwhile, some of the same people on whom these narratives were modeled lived a block away from us, but we never deliberately encountered them. And I really felt a need to start engaging with the community and not just teaching my students about the community.
Okay, and then you hooked up with Kurt. So
yeah, and I had been working in the community for a number of years doing artwork projects, small artwork projects. As an example, the students in sculpture measured and then build replicas out of gingerbread of all the houses on the street near the studio. And so that was a street where, on the north side of Transy's campus, where often the connection between the people who lived there and the university was tenuous because they were renters. But we realized quickly, or I realized quickly, that they had a strong affinity towards Transylvania because they were our neighbors. And also, more importantly, the students performed at a level that I could never get them to in a classroom if they're interacting with the community.
So better for the students, better for the community, better for Transy. And the two of you, the first project you did together?
Well, if we count teaching as art, which the class we teach together, community engagement through the arts, is an artwork in itself. That was in 2008. But also in the same year was our first own artwork, which was called Passing. And it started with oral history interviews with Lexington drag queens and kings, so the Lexington drag community. And it started with oral history interviews, and then we added photography and creative writing, and we made installations in a few different places in town.
Okay, and you did all this with students?
No.
That was not with students,
no.
That was just you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so then how did you begin to integrate students with some or any of these projects?
Yeah. So that's interesting. So when we work with students, I think that's exclusively been through that one class, community engagement through the arts.
Okay,
and
so
that's
a class that you co-teach?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Mostly freshmen, sophomores, juniors, a mix?
Anyone can take it, and it's important to the two of us is that the students who take it are not primarily art majors or English majors, that they're from across the university.
Okay.
So with that in mind, then we have a group of 10 to 14 students that can be a very strongly functioning community of themselves first, and then within that we can more easily and effectively collaborate with people in the city.
Okay. So then let's turn to Unlearn Fear and Hate. So how does this fit in with what you've been doing? And first that, and then I'll ask you more about this particular project. So how does this grow out of other work? Or?
It did,
Yes.
yeah. And before, we'll talk about the specific other artwork it grew out of, but I should say that because since 2008, so for 8 years now, we've engaged the Lexington community with or without our students. We've built a level of trust with a lot of people. People expect to participate in our artworks. They expect us to make more art. So whenever they see us, they say, "What's next?" Which places a lot of responsibility on us. But ultimately, each of our artworks here in the community has been about making the community stronger, getting people to talk to each other, to hear each other's stories, and to become more present to each other. And this artwork is very much about the same. It aims to start conversations and to hopefully allow people to hear each other and to become more human to each other, despite whatever differences they might have, differences of gender, sexuality, race, class, any of them. But specifically, it came out of Unlearn Fear and Hate.
Right.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
so the phrase itself, and then
Yes.
The phrase itself is a phrase from a poem that we commissioned Frank X. Walker to write for Love Letter to the World, which is a global tattoo project, which comes from the Lexington Tattoo Project. And that concept was that it's a poem. That poem was written by Bianca Spriggs, written as a love letter to the city. Then we divide it into words and phrases and design tattoos for each of them. So there are 263 people in Lexington who have a tattoo as part of that project. That was received well. We did it in a few other cities, but then also kind of challenged to see if we could do it on a global scale. So Frank X. Walker wrote the poem for that, for the global tattoo artwork. And in that is the phrase "Unlearn fear and hate," and it's a challenging phrase within the poem. But in spite of that, it's has from the very beginning been either the most downloaded or the second most downloaded phrase. And downloaded means because with that project, anyone in the world can download a phrase, take the design for that to a tattoo artist and get a tattoo.
Okay, so this is one of the benefits of the kind of the new way in which we understand the world.
Yeah.
Is that you're able to track what people are doing, and you know that people have this particular phrase.
Yeah.
People are tattooing themselves with it all over the world,
Yeah.
more than any other phrase.
Yes.
So it kind of popped up for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then,
And the reason why, so it popped up for us, but also we started working on this artwork a year ago in the summer of 2015, which was a summer of a lot of tensions nationally and then locally about issues of race
Right.
and racial violence.
Right.
And we felt very strongly, this is probably the time we felt most powerfully that we had to make art in response to a particular social issue, which was race and race relations. And so we were trying to find a way to make an artwork that would not be about pointing fingers or telling people what to think or how to behave, except we are telling them what to think, rather unlearn fear, unlearn hate, and learn the opposite, which is compassion and love and justice. But the artwork was born very much in response to all of these tensions, which are historical in our society.
And in response to conversations which turn into arguments where people can't find compromise because they're polarized and they're responding out of fear that they'll lose something and then become kind of aggressive as a result.
okay, so this is meant to both symbolically and in a real way encourage people to be in dialogue, to be more open to one another, to think together about these issues. And the actual artwork, this piece of sculpture, who did it, and describe it. People can see it, but how would you characterize it?
So this is the design is based partially on Byzantine halo tradition. So it looks like a halo from old Byzantine paintings, but the words come from the poem, and we created the design ourselves and then sent it to a man who we've done some laser cutting work, Mark Mason. Mark and Carmen Mason have a laser cutting business, and they cut it out of stainless steel for us. There's another one that's in Spanish, currently hanging on Village Branch Library. So with the way laser cutting works, once you kind of have the pattern and everything is in place, then it's pushing the button and out pops the stainless steel halo.
Okay, and you're encouraging people to come. What I did not say, and I should have said, we're standing in front of 21C. This is on their wall. They're a partner in all of this, as are many other entities that make it possible. But you're encouraging people to come, stand on a spot that's right in front of us, have someone take a picture or do a selfie, and then post that as something that they're interested in and they're participating in it.
And hashtag unlearn fear and hate.
And hashtag unlearn fear and hate, which I forgot to do when I posted.
We forget as well, so we're still learning that.
So we want the hashtag so that people know. So if people don't know, we're on the corner of Main and Upper, across from the courthouse. It's on the side wall. There's a mark right on the cement so people will know where to stand. So what else, if anything?
There's a lot more.
So tell me a little more about either the project or how it's going.
Yeah, well, it's the project is. I think that because it was born out of our own need to do something, it also reflects a lot of other people's need to do something about what's going on. So pretty much every time we photograph people or we tell people about it, different communities say, how can we participate? And so we are speaking to a number of different churches from different faith traditions, a number of schools, the Latino community, the LGBTQ community, Black Lives Matter, the local NAACP chapter. So a lot of groups that on the surface might seem to be very different from each other, that all want the same. They want us to have a stronger community and they want to participate. So one way will facilitate that is by giving talks and photographing people in front of the halo and creating this visual petition, which hopefully grows to include all of Lexington, a petition that we as a city want to unlearn fear and hate. But another way is by working with a lot of schools. So as one example, the Spanish language halo is will be at the Village Branch for a month. Then it's going to travel to Cardinal Valley Elementary School, and they'll do their own art programming. Then it will go to Dunbar High School, and they'll do art programming there as well. But also a number of other schools are developing curriculum around the theme of unlearn fear and hate.
And if people, groups, and formal or informal wanted to have you folks come and talk about this, they can reach you at, and we'll post this.
Yeah.
But they can reach you at.
They can reach us through email is probably the most effective way. So our Transy emails, mine is kgohde@transy.edu.
Can you spell mine too?
And Kremena's is ktodorova@transy.edu.
I can spell, it's just that people don't always hear the letters when I say it.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
He knows how to spell your name.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I really appreciate the work that you've been doing on this project, and I've been aware and been a little bit involved in some of your previous projects. I know the impact that they have on the community. It's one of the things that is so crucial. I did not ask you, Kremena, to turn around and show the tattoo on your back as I did when we unveiled this, but the whole notion of interweaving the community, connecting the community, the deep roots that we put down in community, so important to making this a better place to live. So I appreciate your work. Thank you for being here today.
And thank you for your support.
Happy to do it. So, and thank you all for watching.